All right, we are live today, June 8th, 2025, as we are hearing that there are massive protests and attacks taking place in Southern California in Los Angeles. President Donald Trump has deployed the National Guard to address this, and we're hearing tear gas is being unleashed. There are attacks that are taking place. I'm going to share with you the latest. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is live happening now.
Joining us as anti-ICE protesters and demonstrators continue to clash with law enforcement in Los Angeles for a third straight day. You're looking live there as protesters blocking the 101 freeway as LAPD is declaring a unlawful assembly on those parts, and anyone that remains there is subject to an arrest. You can see here on Live Now from Fox some of these images that we're gathering right now, potentially tear gas being dispersed to hope these individuals get off so they can really remove them from the highway. We haven't really seen a ton of arrests right now. Some people sitting down on the highway right now, different fireworks being set off. Let's just listen in briefly here on Live Now from Fox to this unfold, this fluid and dynamic situation.
All right, so this is a live look at one of the areas that they're covering in Los Angeles. Now, let me go ahead and share with you some more video footage as to what has been unfolding, and we are hearing that things are just nuts. I'm going to share with you the video footage here in just a second. Take a look at this live feed from ABC News here. It says, LA immigration protests live updates. Trump does not rule out sending active duty Marines to California. President made comments before departing to Camp David. And I'm going to play for you the video footage so you can see some of the intense scenes as to what is going on right now. Do me a favor before we dive in, if you appreciate the updates, hit that like button, subscribe to stay up to date. There's a lot going on in the world right now, and I'm going to be sharing with you what is happening right now in Southern California. And the headline on this coming out today, Trump deploys National Guard to LA as violence, anti-ICE protests rage on. Let's go ahead and take a look.
And we have a Fox News alert. President Trump ordering more than 2,000 National Guard troops to L.A. as violent anti-ICE protesters burn cars, throw rocks, and smash windows for 2 straight days, threatening the lives of police and ICE agents. The rioters protesting the arrest of more than 100 migrants in L.A., including suspects accused of child abuse and sex assault charges. And here in New York City, at least 20 protesters are detained after storming ICE headquarters in Lower Manhattan. Fox News contributor and retired NYPD Inspector Paul Morrow joins us now. Great to see you this morning, Paul. So how much more complicated is all of this because Democrat politicians in these sanctuary cities are not cooperating with ICE and helping them do their job?
Well, enormously so, for all of the obvious reasons. And you don't have to look any further than the instance that we had with the Wisconsin judge, where you had an illegal accused of a serious assault, domestic, and the ICE agents did everything they could to tamp things down, to do things professionally, didn't go into the courtroom, waited in the hallway. It should have been a simple handoff. And I should mention that grabbing fugitives in that manner is not uncommon in law enforcement. And yet they bumped into an ideologue who wanted to adhere to this sanctuary city doctrine so vociferously that she interfered with the federal operations and snuck the guy out a side door. That's the level that the left has progressed or regressed to relative to these sanctuary policies. And it's just become a virtue signaling contest. You know, ironically, Charlie, this stuff began in order to protect immigrants who were afraid to go to the police because of their out of status, legal status, immigration status. And instead, it has now progressed to the point where these same groups are afraid to go to the police because the local prosecutors won't do anything to the perpetrators. So they know if they report to the police, as we had in that Wisconsin case, the perps are going to get right out, and then they're in danger. They're undermining the very thing they were trying to do.
Yeah, that's a really great point. And of course, now we're in a situation where you literally have, out in LA in particular, you have police who are not going to keep order around all of these riots, and you have President Trump having to order in National Guard troops. The other situation that I think is kind of interesting is the issue with masks. And President Trump has said that these protesters are not allowed to wear masks. How important is that?
Well, look, if they actually can enforce that, it's very important. And it goes to the idea that these arrests of the people that are impeding ICE from doing their lawful duty, these should be federal arrests. And it goes to what I was just saying earlier. The local prosecutors are not going to do much for you. Every time, I can guarantee you that the charges that were laid yesterday here in New York, Alvin Bragg's going to drop them. And Noah Hopkins seems to be inclined to do the same in L.A. because he made statements of essentially supporting this. So you don't have any teeth on the local level. If you want to interdict, build out the networks, find out who these people are, find out who's funding them, who's coordinating them, where the money is coming from, which there's reporting some of it comes from overseas, because it's all the same groups. These are the same people who are disrupting the campuses. So if you want to build that stuff up, you got to go federal. And so knowing who they are and building out from there to penetrate the networks, that's how you got to do it.
Yeah, with no help whatsoever from local politicians. Paul Morrow, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Street, I'm standing amid the crowd of protesters. So I didn't see any impetus for this, but we're just going to watch this unfold.
They're about to start cheering.
Mike!
If you're black and brown, shame on you! Shame on you!
Now they're backing up.
Do you support Israel and the Jewish people? Now, more than ever, Israel needs commitment.
This is live coverage. You can see California National Guard. Today, June 8th, 2025. You can see firing of paint guns, tear gas on the crowds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, okay, right, we're backing up, we're backing up. Yeah, there wasn't a specific thing other than the announcement, but the announcement was very vague. I mean, you heard it live here. It's a little, I don't really know, and certainly this crowd is very confused as to why this is happening. I think we can get a little closer, Mike. Are you okay? Are you okay? Here, hand this to me. No. So, you okay? You okay? Yeah. Put this down. He needs water in his eyes.
There you go, take it.
Here, give me a fresh one.
I don't have that, that's all I got, yeah.
Headphones off, head back. We're in the water. Mask off? Yeah, mask off, mask off.
Now for a Fox News Live update, I'm John Scott in New York. We are seeing what appears to be the first detention of a protester in Los Angeles. You can see on the other side of that silver minivan federal agents have grabbed somebody, have taken a protester down and appeared to be putting cuffs on that person. We don't know the reason for it. We don't know what that person will be accused of having done. But things are very tense in Los Angeles right now. President Trump has ordered in the National Guard, and federal agents, ICE agents and other federal agents are guarding the federal courthouse there. But Los Angeles police, we are told, are not anywhere nearby, and that has to be a decision that has been made at the highest levels of the police department. We don't know, what officers themselves are thinking. But the law enforcement there outside the federal courthouse is being left entirely to federal agents. And you can see things seem to be very much on edge right now. It had been fairly peaceful for most of the afternoon, although there was an outburst about an hour or so ago when someone threw something at the National Guardsmen who are deployed outside the courthouse. They responded with flashbang grenades, with tear gas and pepper spray. And now it appears that things are heating up once again. You can see the obvious, intensity on the part of the federal agents who are finding themselves challenged by a very angry crowd. There was something just thrown there, you can see. And here comes apparently some tear gas that some of the people are ducking.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to
from Fox, and we do right now on Live Now from Fox. We want to take it out to you in full as breaking news. You can see some potentially flashbangs being used, tear gas being dispersed by law enforcement. You can see the smoke rising in. That could be fireworks as well from protest.
This is a live feed right now from Live Now from Fox. So this is actually happening at this moment. It's 6:24 p.m. Central Standard Time. I think that's 4:24 p.m. Pacific Time in Los Angeles, California. It is June 8th, 2025.
And Pedro, the Pasadena exit there, just a mile and a half up, as they are all around this here on Live Now from Fox, as we're following very much so closely into this. As I want to put up this from the Central Command of Los Angeles Police, saying they've entered the southbound lanes of the 101 and are attempting to disperse demonstrators. Please avoid the 101 between the 110 and the 510 interchange there here on Live Now from Fox. And this is another vantage point. You can see them on the ground right now as police are now on the other side of the cement barricade. It appears that protesters are making their way over that right now. Hundreds of people have come on to the highway at this point, and if you're amongst the protests, it's hard to imagine that you understand what's going on, that you are on social media, you see some of these coming in, but it is just a chaotic, dynamic, fluid situation unfolding. Hundreds of people, some sitting down, fireworks being dispersed, different vantage points and sounds coming in, but you see the smoke pop every once in a while. Unsure if that's a non-lethal shot by law enforcement as they're moving this way. Let's just listen in here briefly on Live Now from Fox to hear and listen in to what's unfolding. As we're listening in, unsure what those sounds are, but you can see them now lining up. The strategy is to keep them on a singular side of this 101 highway right now. You can see them right now with different non-lethal weaponry. You can see them with tactical gear, different shields out as well. And of course, we're hearing from different members of the Trump administration, the Deputy Director of the FBI, Dave Bongino, saying on social media, quote, "If you choose violence tonight, this message is for you. We will be investigating and pursuing all available leads for assault on a federal officer, in addition to the many arrests already made. And although we will pursue every case, we don't need to catch every single perp. We'll just catch you." A short time ago, the director and I notified our teams to use all of our investigative and technological tools to pursue you long after order is firmly established. We will not forget even after you try to. So you can see here on Live Now from Fox this unfolding in real time. Let's give you a different vantage point, just a sense of what's happening from on the ground, but also from the sky as these protesters gathering on one side of the highway. They're making a way, hopefully, to keep it on that direction. You can see different canisters. I'm not sure if tear gas or different canisters are being used at this point, flashbangs potentially, but people have moved that direction from right to left here, from north to south, backwards. I believe that was a flashbang just being used. Let's again just listen in as this unfolds here in real time.
Again, this is a live feed happening right now. It's 6:29 p.m. Central Standard Time, June 8th, 2025.
Again, viewer discretion is advised for some of these scenes unfolding, and one from the sky, one from the ground. You can see them potentially throwing some water bottles at police, and they are saying there's an unlawful assembly as tactical assembly there of law enforcement on the ground. Thousands of protesters now gathering. As you can see, it continue to climb the amount of people, the amount of force, as everyone really in the black gear for law enforcement is local or state. It is not National Guard, although that has been a topic of conversation we followed for quite a bit here on this Sunday after President Trump deploying those troops to the ground there. We've seen them outside of the Metropolitan Detention Area, and you can see right there on your screen, I believe maybe a law enforcement official being struck by something, several other individuals tending to his care. Potentially we'll see if he gets led away, but these are some of the concerns when we're talking about these anti-ICE protesters and demonstrators, the danger that it involves. So we're just watching this in real time, and you don't know if those smoke are flashbangs coming from law enforcement or on the other side of this median. So a lot of chaotic nature to this, a very dynamic, fluid situation. We were just hearing that 2 officers were injured when a motorcyclist tried to break through a skirmish line. They're also looking at the other side. So that is also a concern. Just people from a vantage point high atop this 101 freeway on the side streets and pointing to potentially someone that could have thrown something. So not from in front of them, from behind. And they're also concerned about the overpass, which you can see there, just a close proximity to it. So I'm not sure what is going on, how injured this individual, this law enforcement official may be, but getting tended to right now here by several of his associates on this 101 freeway as we're following in this, I guess, other parts zooming into this. As you can see, someone being led away, potentially being detained at this unlawful assembly, subject now to arrest if you remain on this highway or remain on some of these streets close to it, adjacent to this highway. So just following it again, let's put up that 2-box one more time so you can see both vantage points, and let's listen in one more time. just watching there as one person being led away by 3 police officers detained, arrested. I'm not exactly sure what for, potentially threw an object at authorities, was just in the place right there, but they are now under an unlawful assembly as protesters block the 101 freeway. This comes as President Trump has deployed National Guard troops to the region. These are not those troops, though. These are local and state law enforcement. Again, viewer discretion is advised as we watch this unfold in real time. The strategy behind some of these movements by police, very coordinated at the state and local level. Let's just continue to listen in.
Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you support Donald Trump sending the National Guard and trying to get a hold of what is taking place here? Now, you just heard the live news reporter saying that this is actually not National Guard, that this is state and local law enforcement attempting to hold off the crowds. Now, we did see that there was National Guard that was supposed to be deployed, and I thought we saw that in previous video footage. If you support this and Donald Trump trying to get a hold of these protests, put a 47 in the comments. If you don't support this and don't think this is right, put a 46. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And also, do me a favor if you haven't done so yet, hit that like button if you appreciate the live feed coverage. This is happening right now at this very moment, 6:34 p.m. Central Standard Time, June 8th, 2025. This is happening in Los Angeles, California. LA is declaring unlawful assembly taking place. The National Guard is being deployed. And you can see here, LA immigration protests. Live updates. Trump doesn't rule out sending active duty Marines to California as well. If you think that's a good idea, drop those 47s in the comments and hit that like button. But let's go ahead and take a look at some more video footage so that way you can see exactly what is going on. I've been tracking the videos coming out. Now, I heard a lot of it unfolded last night. It's been happening for a while now, and it is exploding today. Let's take a look at some more video footage.
Let's go to Christina Coleman. She's on the ground in LA for us. Christina.
Hi, John. Yeah, we're here outside of the federal building where at least 300 to 400 protesters have gathered. They're protesting against the Trump administration's deportations efforts. Tension is running high here. There's a lot of cursing, shouting. There's a lot of graffiti, a lot of bad words up there. People clearly very upset. 300 National Guardsmen have been deployed to 3 separate locations in the greater Los Angeles area so far to ensure safety and protect federal property. White House officials say this response is necessary to address the lawlessness that has been allowed to fester here in the LA area. President Trump says he's deploying 2,000 California National Guard troops to LA. So far, at least 300 National Guardsmen have been deployed to 3 separate locations in the LA area.
You can protest all you want. You got your First Amendment rights. But if you cross that line of impediment, or you're putting hands on officers or destroy property, you will be prosecuted. We're already ahead of the game. We're already mobilizing. We're going to bring National Guard in tonight. We're going to continue doing our job.
And take a look at this chaos from yesterday. Rioters were waving around Mexican flags or waving it around a fire there in southeast LA County. They were setting fires in the streets during an anti-ICE protest. Tear gas was used to disperse the violent anti-ICE protesters, but some of them threw those tear gas canisters right back at law enforcement. It was a dangerous, dangerous situation. And in addition to setting all those fires, rioters were also throwing boulders and rocks at law enforcement. And then on Friday, right here at the federal building, over 1,000 rioters surrounded it and attacked it. Violent protesters tried to stop ICE agents from carrying out their operations, arresting those with final orders of removal by an immigration judge that had not complied with that order. And get this, just moments ago, DHS released some information on some of the people that have been arrested. DHS officials say some of the illegal aliens arrested this week in LA have a criminal history, a lengthy one, and some of them, they involve a whole host of crimes ranging from sexual battery, second-degree murder, and willful cruelty to a child. But violent protesters still demanded that ICE release everyone they arrested. Authorities say those violent protesters, they assaulted law enforcement officers, slashed tires, defaced buildings and taxpayer-funded property. And immigration activists, they held a press conference that night calling for the release of everyone who had been arrested.
We're going to fight so our families are free. So we are asking that everybody that got arrested today be released.
That's right.
We want them in their houses, with their families, with their children. That's where this is where we belong. This is our home, and we belong here.
Okay, so everybody is like running off right now. I'm not sure why. I can see just down the street. My photographer can move with me a little bit. There's a huge group of people marching down the street right now, and you can see this might be what we've seen before. Oh, look at that, Andy. If you can just scoot over to the right, look over here to the right. You can see there's protesters squaring off with law enforcement right now. Can you see that? So there you have, okay, we're hearing the flashbangs. We're hearing the flashbangs right now. This is what we've been seeing night after night. These clashes, these some of these violent protesters squaring off with law enforcement. You have that law enforcement and riot gear there. You could see them with their shields. They're forming a line. They're doing what they can to protect themselves from these protesters. And you have more of them, more of these protesters coming down the street right now. And you can see how quickly this could get out of hand. I'm watching people put on face masks. We're going to continue to watch this. We're seeing this right now. We can see it. Can we walk a little bit? Can we walk a little bit just to show a little bit more what we can see, Andy? If can. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move. Stay with me. Stay with me. All right, so here we go. We're going to take you up to the line so you can see what's happening here. All right, so you can see right now you have officers that created a line to protect themselves, standing here with these protesters who are continuing to shout at them. The disrespect, the level of disrespect has just been insane over these past few days. You have so many people cursing and shouting at law enforcement. You know, these people are out here, they're just trying to protect and serve. They're just trying to keep this community safe. Following instructions, they're here supporting ICE agents as they carry out their operations, and that this is what they have to deal with. You see a lot of people, I'm looking at a lot of people with their face, okay, they're spraying some more. We're going to scoot back just a little bit more. Staying with your photographer, try and stay at a safe distance. I got you, Andy. I got you.
Stay with me.
I got you. All right, so you can see they're pulling out the shields. The California National Guard, you can see there, we're hearing more flashbang grenades. Again, you have... All right, so you can see you have the police here, you have the National Guards here, tactical vehicles, military vehicles. Again, this is the very same place where all that violence broke out on Friday, when you had the acting ICE director, Todd Lyons, calling it appalling. This is where that happened, where they said that that there were over 1,000 protesters. That was on Friday, and now we are dealing with this at this moment. Yeah. You guys, I'm coughing in some of that pepper spray. So my voice might be a little shaky.
It's a very tenuous and tense situation there. Heard you say that you may have inhaled a little pepper spray, and we certainly appreciate you staying on the job.
It's okay.
All right.
It's okay, John. You can stay with me if you need to. I'm good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean,
you can stay with me if you need to. I'm good.
This is live television, and it's one of the biggest stories in the country right now. You can see that the National Guard members are remaining calm in the face of these taunts and heckling and even well, I guess we haven't really seen violence yet from the protesters, but give us a sense of what you're seeing there.
That's right. Right. Well, so what I'm saying, and you can step back a little bit. I'm going to get on the camera so I can kind of show them here. So if you look behind me, you can see that they've created a line to try and keep themselves safe and trying to protect this federal building. Again, they're trying to protect property and keep the community safe as these protests, these crowds continue to get out of control. This is how it's been for the past 2 days. Things are calm, and then all of a sudden things just pop off. It only takes a moment. You have people cursing. You have people shouting them down. I mean, they have people writing, just saying all kinds of things. You have graffiti. I mean, like when I tell you that it was peaceful and quiet just about 2 hours ago, it was, and you see how things have changed. All right, so you can see here they're firing off more flashbangs. We're firing off more flashbangs right here. Okay, we're going to scoot forward. We're going to scoot forward. So you have more law enforcement vehicles pulling up. You have more. So right now there's a row of law enforcement vehicles pulling up. You can see.
I wanted to ask Christina, is this entirely the work?
Auntie, turn this direction. Come look the way.
Is this entirely the work of the? I wanted to know if this is entirely, left up to the National Guard to protect these buildings. You said that law enforcement is moving in. That's local law enforcement.
Right. Right.
It's mind-blowing. It's beyond me. It's beyond what I can comprehend. It didn't make sense to me. A God who...
Right, well, I can see you got U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. You see their vehicles driving in here. There's a lot of reinforcement. You've got police, you have sheriff's deputies who are providing assistance, and you also have the National Guard who are helping out. So you got police, you got local law enforcement, you have the sheriff's department, you got Border Patrol agents. So many people are showing up here doing what they can. And again, this is to protect these ICE agents who are simply doing their jobs and getting some of these criminal aliens off the streets. And I had just mentioned some of the lengthy histories that some of the people who have been arrested, some of them what we had. I mean, we're talking about second-degree murder, sexual assault. I mean, these are obviously very disturbing crimes. And this is what law enforcement, this is what these ICE agents, they're removing these people from the community, and yet you still have these protesters who are upset over it. They're demanding that everybody be released.
Okay, let's go.
Andy, let's continue to walk forward. We're going to walk a little bit further down here so you can see more of what we're seeing. Look at those military vehicles pulling in now. You have the National Guard here. They've got their masks.
Here we go.
Hold on.
Over here, right behind you.
Okay, come over here. We're gonna walk you a little bit further right now, so you can see with us. Stay with me, Andy. Excuse me. Andy, come with me. All right, so you can come with me right now, and you can see. We're right here in the line. Andy, can you? We're right here in the line. Her face on me. Okay, so you can see right now. This is what we're talking about. How quickly this turns. Come this forward. And as you notice, if you look right behind the line of the National Guardsmen here, see how well they are protecting that federal building. That's where everything popped off on Friday, right here. But you can see how quickly they have mobilized and shifted. Look how they're protecting each other. They have their shields. Andy, go ahead and show right here. Yeah, they're protecting themselves. They have the shields. They're protecting the building. They're trying to keep things safe exactly how the Trump administration wanted. They said they were going to do something about it. You heard Border Czar Tom Homan. He says this violence is not going to be tolerated. People can, they can express their First Amendment rights, but attacking law enforcement, obviously unacceptable. And you can see how quickly the Trump. Okay, so they're throwing somebody just threw a bottle at law enforcement. Just throwing bottles at law enforcement. Okay, we're going to move back. We're going to move back. We're going to move back. We're going to stay at a safe distance. So what you saw there, that was law enforcement protecting themselves. That was the National Guard protecting themselves. They're firing more. Okay, so we have the flashbangs going off. We have the flashbangs going off right now. That is because there were several protesters who threw things at the officer.
Christina, we want to make sure you stay safe. It's obviously getting more and more confrontational there. We want to make sure you stay safe, and certainly don't be breathing in that tear gas, which it appears is going to be coming at you in volumes there. Again, this is...
Pull back for now.
Yeah, please do. This is happening live in Los Angeles. Protesters who are angry that Immigrations and Customs Enforcement has been arresting and getting ready to deport people who are in this country illegally, but not just, garden variety illegal immigrants. They are going after the worst of the worst. We're going to show you in a few moments some of the people who have been arrested in this ongoing operation in Los Angeles. But as you can see, there are a great number of people who are angry about what is happening, and they are trying to do their best to prevent law enforcement from doing what it is supposed to do.
There you have it, you guys. Now, that was a couple of hours ago, that coverage. Now, this is still going on. Here's a live look as how things are going right now. So this is currently 6:48 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is live, June 8th, 2025. You can see this is a live feed of what is happening at this very moment. Now, if you appreciate the updates, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. That just helps spread this out further across the YouTube platform when you hit that like button. And subscribe. I will keep you up to date. Let's take a look at the live feed so you can still see what is going on at this very moment.
Their way, that was also a concern for law enforcement. You can see there a water bottle coming down, screaming down onto the highway right now. So just different vantage points that we're watching as we await the mayor of Los Angeles. And this comes after, on Saturday, President Trump invoked a legal provision that allowed him to deploy the federal service members where there is a, quote, rebellion or danger of a rebellion against the authority of the government of the United States. He said he authorized the deployment of some 2,000 members of the National Guard. President Trump told reporters as he prepared to board Air Force One in Morristown, New Jersey, Sunday, that it was, quote, were violent people in Los Angeles, quote, they're not going to get away with it. Asked if he planned to send U.S. troops to Los Angeles, President Trump said, quote, we're going to have troops everywhere. We're not going to let this happen to our country. We're not going to let our country be torn apart like it was under Biden. He did not continue to elaborate about that. President Trump was also asked and said that California officials who stand in the way of the deportations could face charges. A Wisconsin judge was arrested just last month on accusations she helped a man evade immigration authorities. President Trump said if officials stay in the way of law and order, they will face charges. We also heard that California Governor Gavin Newsom called Trump on Friday night and spoke for about 40 minutes. It's not clear if they spoke again on Saturday or Sunday. We know Newsom is on the ground right now in Southern California, in Los Angeles, to oversee the state's response. There was some confusion surrounding the exact timing of the guards' arrival, although we've seen them on the ground outside of that Metropolitan Detention Facility. We've seen roughly about 300. That is what the Associated Press is reporting, not the magnitude of the 2,000 that was called upon by President Trump. All right, let's just listen in. We're still waiting for Mayor Karen Bass to step through the microphone. Let's just listen in here. And again, viewer discretion is advised.
All right, you guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the live feeds coming out here. Let's see. President Trump sends National Guard as violent anti-ICE riots erupt in Los Angeles. The National Guard was deployed to Los Angeles County as anti-ICE protests continue to escalate Saturday afternoon and into the evening. The unrest is centered in the city of Paramount, California, where protesters clash with federal authorities, including Immigration Customs Enforcement officers who were allegedly trying to conduct a raid at a local business. Now, this is currently today, Sunday, June 8th, 2025. You can see that this is a live feed update. They're referring to what unfolded yesterday, but this is going on right now as I have the live feeds up with you. You can see this just posted 27 posts in the past hour. FBI offering $50,000 in search of suspects who assaulted federal officers in Los Angeles. So if you are able to identify these individuals, you could get $50,000 for helping out. The FBI is asking the public for help to identify a man who allegedly threw rocks at law enforcement vehicles, assaulted a federal officer, and damaged government property on Saturday afternoon, according to the FBI. Let's see here. 6 minutes ago, former Los Angeles mayoral candidate denounces National Guard deployment. So you can see Caruso is against this. LA area mayor urges community to remain calm as anti-ICE riots grow. And this is pretty intense. You're hearing that these are protesters. Then you see it for yourself and you're like, wow, these are some serious riots that are taking place right now. It is pretty intense. 30 minutes ago, Newsom calls Trump administration's deployment of National Guards unlawful. Wow. Let me know your thoughts. Do you support what Donald Trump is doing right now, calling for the National Guard? If so, drop a 47. If you don't support it, drop a 46. And hit that like button for me. Help spread this out further if you appreciate the live feed updates coming out right now. 36 minutes ago, former LAPD chief asks for God to protect officers during the riots. And if you agree with that, if you're a praying individual, why don't you drop a praying hands in the comments right now, as they are saying to protect those law enforcement individuals. 1 hour ago, Newsom tells constituents, don't give Donald Trump what he wants. Again, let me know your thoughts. If you support what Donald Trump is doing, drop a 47. If you don't support it, drop a 46 for the previous administration and for Gavin Newsom. 2 hours ago, Trump directs administration to take action to liberate Los Angeles from migrant invasion. 2 hours ago, Trump says he will send whatever is needed to maintain law and order in California. 3 hours ago, California National Guard deploys pepper spray, flashbangs at LA protesters. And that is the video footage that we literally just watched a moment ago. I shared with you video footage that had come out approximately 3 hours ago. We saw the live coverage of that. Now I actually have the live feeds up for you, what is happening at this very moment. It is currently 6:54 p.m. Central Standard Time, and it is June the 8th, 2025, and we're covering what is unfolding right now in Los Angeles. Johnson says Hegseth possibly sending Marines to anti-ICE riots, not heavy-handed, deterring the effects. And again, we're hearing that you can see here from ABC News, LA immigration protests live updates. Trump does not rule out sending active duty Marines to California as things are intensifying in California. Now, also, I've got the live feeds up for you right now. You can see this is live at this very moment. What is happening? Let's go ahead and go back and take a look at this. Let's just continue on here on Live Now from Fox and bring up just this image in full here so you can see it. The breadth of this movement by police to push these demonstrators, these anti-ICE protesters, back off this 101 freeway, off this on-ramp right now. And this comes after 2 days of anti-ICE protests in Los Angeles. The National Guard also making its way to Southern California. The Guard members' arrival on Sunday comes as President Trump, the administration, declared it will send them in response to the protests that took place in Paramount, downtown Los Angeles, Westlake over the last 48 hours. These protests, as you can see, led to clashes between law enforcement, federal law enforcement as well, and alleged agitators with no ties to immigration advocacy. So clashes happening as comes as Border Patrol officers made their way to Southern California in gray SUVs and attire resembling riot gear this weekend. Their presence has alarmed Angelenos, prompting witnesses and activists to suspect the changing of ICE raids. So
You're just seeing all this tear gas wafting into the air, pushing individuals back, the tactical gear by these law enforcement officials. This is not the National Guard you're looking at here. These are just local and state law enforcement. We did see California National Guard outside what I believe is the Metropolitan Detention Facility there, standing guard to assist in any way. But we also saw within the last hour or so, Governor Gavin Newsom talking about his urge to remove the National Guard as he feels the federal, the local, and state authorities have it under control. He says, quote, indeed, the decision to deploy the National Guard without appropriate training or orders is risking seriously escalating this situation. There's currently no need for the National Guard to be deployed into Los Angeles and to do so in this unlawful manner and for such a lengthy period of time is a serious breach of state sovereignty that seems intentionally designed to inflame the situation while simultaneously depriving the state from deploying these personnel and resources where they are truly required. So Governor Gavin Newsom on the ground right now in Los Angeles as these protests are unfolding throughout this weekend after the immigration operation, some raids taking place on Friday, really sparking this opening it up as well. So let's just continue to listen in here as we wait. Karen Bass, she's expected to speak to the media, potentially speak to people of Los Angeles about this, calling on peaceful protests here as well. Let's listen in.
So there you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think that these are peaceful protests? If you think so, put yes. If you think no, put no. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Now, from the video footage we're seeing, it looks like things are pretty intense right now. And let me know your thoughts. Are things going to be de-escalating? Where are we going to go from here? And we've been hearing that this has been going on for quite some time now. It was Friday, Saturday, now today. This is happening. You're watching the live feed at this very moment. Now, we're going to see where we go from here. And whatever unfolds, I'll be sure to let you guys know. But these have been intensifying, and I saw a lot of this being covered last night as it started to erupt. And then today, you can see it has just really exploded. And they said that they're about to hear from Bass very soon. And we just heard from Newsom. Newsom said he did not think that the National Guard was necessary. And let me know if you agree or not. Do you agree with Newsom? Do they got this under control? If you think no, put no. If you think yes, put yes. But Newsom saying it's not necessary. Oh, we have Bass live. Let's go ahead and listen to what she has to say.
Public safety, there's clearly no plan, and there is clearly no policy. I want the people of Los Angeles to know that we stand with all Angelenos, no matter where you were born. The First Amendment right gives you the ability, again, to protest peacefully. But it does not give you the right to be violent, to create chaos, or to vandalize property. And that will not be tolerated. So I call on all Angelenos to continue expressing your right, your anger, your outrage, but to do it peacefully. And I just have to say that all of you were there Friday. Everybody knows what happened Friday. A workplace, several workplaces were targeted and raids took place. Now, in the beginning, the administration said they were just looking for dangerous felons, violent people. It's hard to say that that's what they found at a workplace or in a Home Depot parking lot. When this happens, it terrifies people. It sends a sense of fear and chaos in our city. And you well remember a few years ago in the last administration that kids were afraid to go to school. Parents were afraid to go to work. This impacts all of our city. You can't terrify the workforce, and then expect for people to get the jobs done. So if you think about a father that went into a factory and now his family doesn't know where he is, the detainees have not been allowed to speak to legal counsel. That is a marked departure from what has happened in the past. When you think of a mother that might be working in a household, taking care of children on another side of town, that impacts that family as well as her family. And so this is something that I think should not be happening in our city. And I join with the governor and appealing to the administration to rescind the order to federalize the National Guard and allow the National Guard to come back under the control of the governor. So with that, we can open it up for questions. Yes.
We're going to start with Lolita and then we'll go to Chase.
Mayor, protests that were demonstrations, I should say, did start out peacefully. You've been here since
Right.
in the morning.
Right.
But then they scattered and people were moving
Right.
around. Where is the LAPD in terms of being here to be able to deal with that and maybe stop them before they get over?
Sure. Well, I think that basically they were overrun. But what is happening now is that the freeway is cleared. The California Highway Patrol, as you know, is in charge of the freeways. So they have moved all of the protesters back. They still might be there, but they are beginning to be dispersed. But LAPD is on the perimeter, so LAP is actively involved. You know that there were hundreds of protesters on the freeway and thousands of protesters off the freeway. So there is a joint collaboration going with the CHP, the LAPD, and then frankly the National Guard. But you also know that the National Guard is deployed to protect federal property. So there is a National Guard troops in Westwood at the federal building and also here downtown.
Next question is Chase.
Mayor Ross, have you reached out directly to the federal government, or is this you doing so right now with the media here? Have you tried to reach out?
No, my disappointment is I've been talking to the federal government for days. I was hoping to prevent this situation from happening. I was trying to encourage the administration that if they deployed the National Guard in Los Angeles, it would create a sense of chaos. It's the last thing our city needs. Our city is still trying to recover from the wildfires. And you just think about how so many people were impacted by that. And that's an example of where the administration was helpful. And to go from that situation to where we are now is just really tragic. And I think it's so unfortunate. It's the last thing Los Angeles needs.
When you say you reached out to the federal government, have you reached to President Trump?
No, I did not reach out to President Trump directly. I spoke to his chief of staff. I talked to Tom Holman. I talked to the U.S. Attorney. So I've talked to several members of the administration.
Next question, Matthew. Yeah, I know you've been watching these protests. First off, what do you see when you're watching this? And I know that you've mentioned being worried about the safety of the protesters, but are you also worried about members of law enforcement in the middle of this?
Well, I'm worried about everybody. I'm worried about members of law enforcement. I'm worried about the safety of the people who are peacefully protesting. I'm worried about the businesses that might get vandalized. I'm worried about the vandalism that took place around the federal building. All of that. We do not need to see our city torn apart. And the idea that the federal government that should be assisting us is a contributing factor, I think is very tragic. When I see the protesters, I know that so many people are affected by this. Their families are affected by this. People are terrified.
How do you think that vandalism impacts the overall message of the protest?
Well, I mean, I first of all, I think protests need to be peaceful, period. And any time it deteriorates into violence, that is a problem, and it absolutely messes with the overall message.
Next question right here in white.
Yeah, hi, Mayor. George Reuters. My question is, can you share a little bit about the conversations you've had with the governor, and how long you expect for the National Guard to actually be in?
You know what? Thanks for asking me that, because we're hearing all of sorts of information. We're hearing that raids could continue. We're hearing that the National Guard is going to be here. So it's uncertain. But that's exactly the problem, because we don't need in this city to go to sleep tonight and wake up in the morning and find out about people running through Home Depot parking lots being chased by ICE officers, or people going to work, or children at school. So we don't need.
So this is happening live right now. It is 7:07 p.m. Central Standard Time. And let me know, do you agree with Mayor Bass, or do you agree with Donald Trump, who is saying that, hey, we want ICE to go in. We want to get out these criminals that are here illegally, that are committing these crimes. They're right now apprehending them, deporting them, and the riots are taking place in Los Angeles in opposition to this. If you support what is going on right now and the policies of the Trump administration and trying to Make America safe again. Drop a 47. Now, if you disagree and you agree with Mayor Bass and you feel like this should not be taking place and they should not be doing these ICE raids, drop a 46 for the policies of the previous administration. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Now, do me a favor. If you haven't done so yet, please take a second, hit that like button. Literally just need 8 more likes if you haven't hit it yet to get to 1,200 while we are live covering right now what is unfolding. This is live coverage as we're hearing the breaking news that Donald Trump is wanting to deploy the National Guard to California to help, and we're hearing that California National Guards right now are tear gassing protesters. I share with you the live footage of what unfolded, and I am keeping you up to date on everything as it comes out. This has been unfolding over the past couple of days. It is escalating today, Sunday, June 8th, 2025, and we're going to be seeing where we go from here. Now, regardless of what unfolds, I'll be sure to keep you up to date here on the channel so you know exactly what is taking place. Now, in addition to that, if you missed my live streams yesterday and the day before, you might want to check it out because right now we're hearing there is a lot going on in the Middle East and concerns with nuclear warnings. Things are falling apart between Israel and Iran and the United States, and Iran issuing direct warnings and threats of nuclear proportion to the United States, saying, you will not tell us whether or not we can enrich uranium or not. We're going to go ahead and do it. And if we want a nuclear weapon, we will go ahead and do so. Things are also escalating with Russia and Ukraine. And we also have warnings coming out about conflicts with China and Taiwan. So a lot of global conflict, a lot of things happening here on U.S. soil, and a lot of major concerns. And we're also waiting to see what's going to be happening with policy in that big, beautiful bill. I will keep you guys up to date on everything because there is a lot unfolding right now. And as it comes out, like I said, I'll be sure to share here on the channel. I'll pull up the latest live feeds for you, put it on the screen, read right from it, hyperlink it in the description. I try to hold myself to the highest level of accountability so you know exactly what is going on. You can see the sources, see the dates, and know that this is the latest. And if you appreciate that, like I said, if you haven't done so yet, take a second, hit that like button, subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. Why not? And thank you to all those that provided me with those super chats. Really appreciate that support a ton. I will keep you guys up to date on everything, but that is the latest from the live feeds. As more comes out, I'll keep you up to date. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care, you guys. God bless.